Hi, hello, and welcome to Nami's classroom. Today we are going to see about computer architecture. So this is a first video regarding computer architecture, and today we are going to see the basics of computer architecture. So, what are the course objectives and course outcomes of computer architecture? So, you will be going to study about the basic structure and operations of a computer. And second thing, you will be going to study in detail about the ALU unit. And also, you will be going to study about the floating point and fixed point representation of A in ALU. And third, you will be going to study about pipelining. Then you will understand about parallelism, and also you will learn about multi-core processors. Then the fourth one is you will be going to study about different types of memories, like your cache memory, main memory, secondary memory, direct memory access, TLBs, and all you will be going to study. And also at last you will be going to study about the different ways of communication with input output devices. And what is the outcome? So objective is something which you are going to study, that is the aim of a subject is called an objective. Outcome is after completing your studies, after completing a particular course, what is going to be your outcome. So what from the things that you have learned for that particular course, what you will be able to do. So the things that you can do after your after completing this particular syllabus is you will be able to understand the basics of computer operations and instructions. You will be able to design an arithmetic logic unit. You will be able to understand the pipelining in a better way, and you will be able to solve the different issues that is related to pipelining. And then you will be able to understand parallelism in a better way, and you will be able to design the computer architecture in such a way that parallelism is achieved, and the performance of the computer is increased to a greater way. And at last you will be able to study about the various memory systems, and you will be able to use the memory systems efficiently. So these are the objectives and outcomes of this particular course. The textbook that we are going to study in for computer architecture is the David A. Peterson and John L. Hennessy Computer Organization and Design. So this is the cover of this particular textbook. So this is a textbook which is being widely accepted for studying this particular course. So now we'll start with the course. So we call our course as computer architecture. So in detail, we can call it as computer architecture and organization. So we know everything about computer. Computer is an electronic machine that is designed in such a way that it automatically accepts and stores input data, process them, and produce result under the direction of instructions. So um, we will go with computer architecture now. Computer architecture is defined as the structure and behavior of various functional modules of a computer and how they interact to provide processing needs of a processor. So we may have already heard about computer networks and computer architecture. So what is the difference of computer network and computer architecture? Computer network is something that is related to interconnection of different systems and how the network has been established between different systems. Architecture is something related to the design of a computer, how efficiently you can design the computer, and what are the criteria that we have to take into consideration when you design a computer. That is the difference of computer architecture and computer networks. And what do you mean by organization? Organization means we know that there are many functional units inside the computer. We may have CPU, we have memory units, we have the hard disk, we have memory units and all. So we will be able to see that there are many operational units associated with the computer architecture. And we will be able to understand the computer architecture in a better way when we go through the next few slides. And this organization is purely the interconnection of different operating units. So operating units, I have already explained to you that CPU, memory units, then hard disk, different peripherals like keyboard, mouse, and all these are different units of a computer system. And when these things are getting connected, uh, and all together it will make an architecture, and that commonly we call it as organization. How the operational units of a computer are getting organized. So that is organization. And architecture purely means the design of a computer system is called architecture. So now we'll see about computer. The main parts of a computer are CPU, then we have the main memory, then we have the input output units, then we have the system interconnections. So CPU is always considered as the brain of the computer. Main memory or memory system is used for storing the data. Then input output units. Okay, so input output devices are usually used for transfer of data between the computer and the external environment. So input devices includes keyboard, mouse, etc. And output devices can be printer, is one of the example for output device. So the movement or the transfer of data between the input and output devices along with the processor will be carried out in the computer. And last is going to be the system interconnection. So system interconnection means how the communication is being carried out between the CPU, main memory, and the input output devices. Definitely, there is some interface needed for communicating all these devices. So we call this interface as bus. We call this interface as bus. So we will see about bus in the later slide. So here you can see that CPU is the heart of the computer system. So we will be having input devices and which will be giving the input to the CPU, and once the things are getting processed, then you will be getting the output devices, output in the output devices. And if you have to store some data, then we will be using the memory, like the main memory or secondary memory you will be using for storing of data. So always remember that computer is a device which is used for storing and processing of data. We'll go to the next slide. So this is the top overview of a computer system. You can see that the computer, okay, you have computer over here. So this is the whole thing inside the computer system. Okay, so the computer consists of CPU, you have main memory, we have system interconnections, and we have input output unit. So these are the four important components inside the computer system. And we will be going to see in detail about the central processing unit, that is CPU or otherwise known as processor, in the computer in the next slide. So here we have different components inside the computer, but we are giving more importance for CPU because in computer architecture the design of computer is purely based on how efficiently you design the processor. So CPU consists of few components which includes registers, arithmetic and logical unit, then control unit, and internal CPU interconnection. So mainly CPU consists of registers. So registers are very small storage devices which are temporarily used for storing the data. Arithmetic and logical units are used for performing the arithmetic operations and logical operations. Arithmetical operations include addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And logical units include some decision making operations, like it will decide whether the case is true or case is false. Consider that A is equal to 20, B is equal to 15. Is A greater than B? If it is yes, then it will make a decision like true, and if A is less than B, it will take the decision like it is false. So true or false decision will be taken by the logical unit. Then you have something called control unit. So control unit is something that provides the control, or control signals will be provided to the different components inside the computer, and which will enable or disable the different components. So here you have the ALU, arithmetic and logical unit. You have the control unit, which is used to perform fetch and execute cycle. So always remember that in pipelining we'll be having five main stages. One is fetch, decode, execute. Then we have Yes, fetch, decode, execute, memory access, and write back. So there are five main stages involved in pipelining. So control unit will perform the fetch and execute cycle, and it will also help in moving the data to and fro from the CPU registers and to other hardware components. And it also involved in enabling and disabling a particular component inside the computer. Okay, then we have registers. As I have already explained to you, register is a small temporary storage device which is used for storing of very small amount of data. Now we'll see this. I have already explained to you. This is a control unit, and I told you will be having five main things, five main stages in executing a particular instruction. First, it will fetch the instruction. Second, it will decode the instruction. Third, it will execute the instruction, and finally, it will store the instruction. And sometimes we may have to write the data, the write the data back to the register also. So that is going to be the fifth step. Anyhow, here they have shown only four steps, but there is one fifth step also, in case if the data that we have stored inside the memory has to be stored back to the register, then we have to include the fifth step, which is going to be the write back. Okay, write back to the registers. Okay, so control unit is going to perform the fetch and decode instruction functions, and the execution, that is the processing of the data, will be carried out by the ALU. Then storing of the data, that is the output, the after processing the data, you will be getting some output, and that output from the ALU will be stored in the memory. So this is how the process, or this is how the execution of a particular instruction carried out inside the computer system. So last, we'll see about registers. Registers are small permanent storage devices which are used for storing the data for some period of time, and this is manipulated directly by the CU, that is the control unit. And you can see that here we have the central processing unit over here. We have central processing unit over here, and central processing unit is basically been divided into two. One is ALU and one is control unit. Okay, accumulator is small memory where we will be able to store some amount of data, and we have input unit and we have output unit. So to the input, from the input unit, it will be getting the which instruction to be carried out, that will be taken up by the processor, and the processor will process the data, and it will be providing some output, and this output will be given to the output unit. And if you want to store some data, it will be stored in the central memory, which can be RAM or ROM. RAM is the random access memory, and ROM is the read only memory. So we have two types of lines which is been shown over here. One is the pink line. The pink line represents the data bus, and the dotted lines which is in orange, that denotes the control bus. So we have some interfaces which we use for sending of data between the different components. So this set of wires are called bus, and the bus can be of three different types: data bus, address bus, and control bus. Data bus are those set of wires which are going to carry the data alone, and address bus are those set of wires which are going to carry the address alone, and the control bus is going to send, or it is going to send some kind of control signals which may enable or disable the different components inside the computer system. So in this diagram we have control signals which has been sent from the input unit, and from the between the input unit and the output unit along with the CPU, and we have the data transfer from the input unit to the memory, and from memory to the output unit. So this is how the process inside a computer is being carried out when an instruction is given. So I hope it's clear for you now. And whenever we talk about computer architecture, so computer architecture is going to be the design of a computer, and computer networks, it is totally different from computer networks. By studying computer architecture, we will be able to understand what actually the how or what or how actually the design of a computer can be done, and how we will be able to make the process more faster in the computer system. So computer architectures or computer designers are can study a lot more, or can do more research in how to increase the performance of the computer system. So by studying this particular computer architecture course, you will be able to design the computer with more number of applications and more number of more designing concepts, so that you will be able to increase the efficiency of the computer to a greater extent, and also you will be able to improve the performance of a computer to a greater extent. So there are different ways in which we will be able to improve the design, or we improve the performance of a computer to a greater extent, and which we will be going to discuss in the next class. And in the next class we will be going to discuss about 8 great ideas which are required for designing of a computer. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you for watching the video. This is all about the introduction of computer architecture, and so this is going to be the Nami's classroom. So like, share and subscribe this channel for more videos in computer architecture. Thank you.